After a late signing for Cody Bellinger, Cubs now have an option. They filled up their outfield, and at this point, they need somebody for the third base. And now that Chappie's gone, they're not going to be signing anybody else. Christopher Morel seems pretty good being a utility player, but I don't know exactly what happened these last couple games. But the Cubs are optimistic. Let's get into it. Welcome everybody to the Touching Bases podcast. I'm going to go ahead and skip the intro because I feel like you guys are probably tired of it. We're just talking about something really quick today because Chicago Cubs signed Cody Bellinger a couple weeks ago, or maybe about a week and a half ago now, which filled that last hole that they had in the outfield. I don't know what they were planning. I don't know if they were looking to fill it with somebody else or take a prospect and bring him up, but it didn't look like they really had much. I mean, they did have Crow Armstrong, and they still do. I don't know exactly where he's going to fit in there. I think that he is a good prospect. Luckily, he's only 21, so he's got some time to develop, but in spring training it looks like he's batting a 182. Now he's had 22 at bats. He's hit in 4 runs and he's only had 4 hits. So in the times that he's needed to come up to the plate, he has produced, but 22 at bats, dude, in 182. I think he needs a little bit more development time, at least in AAA, and they'll probably be bringing back the same outfield as they had last year. But moving over to what the whole video is about, we're kind of talking about Christopher Morel. This is just kind of a small thing. He has bounced around last year. He was a designated hitter, and he also played some time in the outfield and some of the middle infield. Now with an opening that they have over at third base, they're looking to make him a permanent third baseman so that he can have everyday at-bats. Last season, he had 388 at-bats, and he hit 26 home runs and slugged .508, and that was just him bouncing around to different places, and he was very instrumental for the Cubs last season. And I personally am a big fan of his, and especially with his ability, how athletic he is. And in Wednesday's game, he against the Angels, they won 6-5, but he hit a double into left field, which actually pushed his spring training average to 353 and a 1.068 OPS. And this is like through the 7 games that he's played. He's performing well, especially at the plate. He is a major bat that I don't think the Cubs can really give up here. But at third base, he is looking pretty bad. I don't know if you guys have caught these games and seen what he's been doing, but it's not good, and we definitely need to work on that. Are they going to kick him out and put somebody else in there, make him DH? Apparently not. Apparently they say they want him to make these mistakes so that he sees that he does need to work on this area. He does need to be actively focusing on one position as a third baseman, and that is kind of the transition that they're pushing him to, so that he can develop and then hopefully possibly make third base be his main position and fill that hole that Chicago needs help in. Now, he's willingly bounced around, like I said, with the Cubs last season. He played in the outfield. I mean, he even said, I'm not thinking, oh, I need to go practice outfield. I need to take fly balls, find a different glove. It's easier when you play one position. You know you can go to that position every time you play. And that is very true. And I think that is a mature way of looking at how poorly he played in the last couple games, especially at third base. This is a kind of a new position for him, and I think he's going to be able to adjust easily, since now he only has to focus on one position, as what you heard. Nico Hoerner is going to be over at second, while Dansby Swanson is going to be playing a shortstop, who I think deservedly belongs at shortstop. His performance last year was very good. He's always been a shortstop. He hasn't really been much of a utility player from all over the field. Hoerner batted amazing. Swansby was one of the best batters on the Cubs last year, along with Bellinger, obviously, and hopefully Bellinger can actually perform the way he did last season. The seasons before that, he was not as much of a stud, so given the money that they offered him, hopefully he'll be able to come through for the Cubs, and they can maybe fit that #1 slot for the NL Central. Well, now having Christopher Morel inside the lineup every day, being a third baseman, as long as he can touch up on this very short amount of time they have left in spring training to be proficient at third base and get those throws across, batters won't be aiming to hit the ball to him as an easy way to get on base. Now, we know that he can adjust. He was over at shortstop before shifting over to second base when Dansby Swanson came back, and he earned himself the Gold Glove. He does have the ability, and he does have the mental capacity to actually learn a position and be a star infielder. The problem is that this is a new position. I'm just saying it's very rough to see the errors that he committed this late into spring training. So maybe it's something that the Cubs need to worry about. Maybe not. I think that he's going to be just fine, but I mean, what do you guys think? Leave a comment down below. Give a like if you feel like this is a good topic to talk about, and we can make more videos and give more updates. And subscribe if you haven't already. Only 3.3% of you have subscribed that watch the video, so I would greatly appreciate it. And until then, I'll see you on the next one. Later.